Welcome back to Fairy Tale Anime Review, episode number 37. This is our reviewing the 305th episode of the anime, White Dragneel. This episode is adapted from chapters 493 to 495. I had to check my calculator because, from what I've heard, the anime is only going to go to the second to last chapter of the manga. So they have roughly 49 chapters left to adapt, though by the most recent episode, it's probably gonna be less than that. Probably about 30 left. This episode starts off with the anthem, pretty much with Mara Jade already defeating Irina Borson's two henchwomen. Like they've already been defeated, and then of course Mara Jade is confronted by Irina herself. And of course, it seems like almost everybody who confronts her is like, man, her power is so massive. And then like because she's angry because she defeated her two henchwomen. So she pretty much just strings her up and then pretty much shreds her clothing. Yep, shreds her clothing. And pretty much starts almost trying to beat her to death because she killed her henchwoman. And then all of a sudden, August and Brandy show up. August, of course, still in his red skin mode. And, of course, Irina really wants to kill Mara Jade. And, of course, August just basically fires a finger beam at her, basically implying that he killed her. And, of course, while they're walking away, but via distance, apparently Brandish's power extends as far, she uses her power to shrink Mara Jade's wound when she's found by Lasana. Oh yeah, and also continues where left off with Elfman and Unico confronting Angel, Unico's sister. And she goes, no, she doesn't have a sister. And of course, later on, they figure out, yep. And the girl's like, okay, I'll just hang out. The reason why she just wanted to confirm she's sister because of the crime she committed when she was part of, well, the Ration 6. Yep. And of course, no one questions the fact the Unico's clothes are shredded. Yep. Of course, it was implied prior to this that Unico may have a thing for Rogue. Yeah, it's implied that she has a thing for him. Just like somehow it's Sting. Yeah, it's implied that she might have a thing for Sting, and well, possibly that the previous master's daughter has a thing possibly for Rogue. Yep, and of course, Elfman doesn't do anything when Yoniko is talking to Angel, and well, Elfman could have brought the fact that yes, he does have experience being separated from his sister. His sister Lasana, he was separated from her for 2 years. Yeah, for 2 years he thought that she was dead. Yeah. This was, of course, basically contradicted by the Eros arc. Yep. And then they show up later, and Elfman's in a new transform mode. He looks like a giant red bear. Yep. And we see that, well, now when they get to what Team Natsu are up to, of course, this Team Natsu is comprised of Natsu, Happy, Urza, Gray, and Juvia, in pretty much a similar area they were at the start of this. It's like, we're finally back to this. After this started back with episode, like, the scene we see lie on the hill, that's actually also was seen back in episode, I think it was 279. Yeah, and we're finally back this moment, basically. Or is the thing this might be the final days, and of course they go off to Fairy Tale and start the battle with the million soldiers. And as for what's going on in the Fairy Tale Guild Hall, we have, well, Mavis talking to Zara for a little while, and then the Weather Wizard shows up, freezes her, and Zara's like, "Don't do that, unfreeze her, please." No, he doesn't say it. He's like, okay. Puts a chain around her neck, basically to confuse her mind. I'm sure Zara was like, okay, that's fine, but don't imprison her again. That was stupid, because she was in prison for 95 years. Yeah, and according to them, this is the first these two have seen each other. Like, he thinks it's been like almost exactly a century. According to Mavis, it's been 95 years. Okay, fine, be exact. That's Mavis. Yep, because Mavis is known for be the fairy tactician. So yeah, she's a genius when it comes to this. Of course, she's figured out a strategy to, well, defeat Zeref. She has it, but can't use it just yet. And they go outside the Fairy Tale Guild Hall, and you see where it is. It's on top of a freaking mountain. And on the bottom mountain, at the foot of it, is a million Alvarez Empire soldiers, a whole boatload of them. He said it was like 1,000,000 soldiers down there. Oh yeah, and basically this follows up what happened with Aria Borson. Basically, it's confirmed that the entire Spigoto has to reunite, and we see them all for the first time. Though we see story versions of God Serena and Wall and Bloodman, because Bloodman got killed by freaking Gonjil, Wall got killed by Loxus, and let's see, God Serena got killed by Agalolia. Now, was another character who looks exactly like God Serena. I thought this was God Serena, and his name is Lodro Dragneel. It's implied he might be related to Zeref, but nope, it's never confirmed in this episode. I don't know if he is. I know there's a secret from August, but I won't spoil what I hear. Yep. And he frees Demora, and then later on you see her, she's basically hugging Brandish. Despite the fact these two do not like each other at all. They just hug each other. Okay. Yeah. Like, everybody's there. Like, we see the Desert King. Like, last I saw him, he was defeated. Of course, Jacob was pretty much thrown in the middle of an empty lake. Yeah, as for how... there is an explanation of how these two probably got here. Universe 1. Oh yeah, and of course there's a joke by Irina, basically, that she was expecting to get spanked by Zeref. Okay. I guess she's basically into that. Spanking. The last time I heard of a redhead speaking about spanking was back in High School DxD when Reyes had to spank Issei for disobeying her. For basically doing something on his own without her permission. Though she later forgave him, basically, but she had to punish him. Though, in the case that was 1,000 spankings, but one of them basically had to go to Kiniko because, she participated in it too. But he got 999 spankings. Yep. And this never brought up again. But in the case of this, no spankings, thank God. Yep, no spankings. And then, of course, and then we have the big battle where you have most of Fairy Tail along with Yoniko and Angel, and of course Farouche and I don't remember the other one's name, the one who's one of the other twin Dragon Slayers exceeds. They're battling the soldiers of Alvarez Empire for a good while, and then God Serena shows up. First shoots fire at one hand. Of course, Natsu eats it, but he doesn't know this is the story version, despite the fact that the other person who I think it's, as far as I can tell, I think that maybe one person knows that he's probably dead. Now, as far as I can tell, only one person can confirm God Serena is dead, and that's Makarov. Actually, not Makarov. It's actually the top 5 Wizard Saints. Makarov probably suspects that he might be dead, but it's never confirmed if he does know or not. And then they're surrounded by water because Natsu's eating the flames, and of course looks like I'll be drowned, and all of a sudden the spell is shattered. And who shatters it? Why, it's Guildarts making his first appearance in the series since the flashback in Alvarez Empire in the Avatar arc. Yeah, but I think the last special time I could think of he's actually shown up was, off the top of my head, was, let's see, he didn't show up in Tartarus. He was absent for that. Yeah, no explanation for that. I think the last special time he showed up was, off the top of my head, I think it was after Grand Magic Games. That was the last time I could think of he's actually made a physical appearance in the series, aside from the flashback at the start of the Alvarez Empire, start of the Avatar Empire, the Avatar arc. Yep. And yeah, and apparently he's changed his look a bit, where he actually wears a shirt now, and he's got almost like a full beard. Yeah, first time he's actually a facial, because Guildart's known for being, it's not a very beefy guy. He's also known for being a very clean-shaven, very handsome guy. Oh yeah, and Kana is blushing at seeing him, despite the fact that, it was revealed in a filler episode, she doesn't call him Daddy, because he left her mother. Yep. But yeah, this is probably the first time, probably about, I'd say, a year that she's probably seen Guildarts. We'll see her father. Yeah, and it's a great way to end the episode, but there's going to be a massive battle between God Serena and Guildarts the very next episode. That's what it looks like because, that's what happens in manga. And of course, the Winter Wizard shows up too. Yeah, and I'm looking forward to next week's episode because this is so basically starting with this episode. What kind of basically start at the beginning and the end of this very arc because there's not many chapters left. So yes, why not start here? We have started at the beginning and the end of the arc, and soon hopefully we're gonna get a chance to see Irina confronting Urza. Now I'm spoiling the fact that Irina is basically Urza's mother, but the thing is, anybody can tell that just by looking at her. Red hair, pretty much similar build, except she's basically 400 years old. Yes, but I won't spoil what happens to her. I will not spoil that. The only person I won't spoil is that she's Urza's mother. Of course, Mary Jane, when she sees her, she doesn't think, though, she looks a lot like Urza. She doesn't think that at all. Yes. Isn't that weird? That nobody so far pointed out, though, the fact she looks like Urza at this point? Well, Urza probably figures out herself anyways. And I'm sure some people might point out that Urza is like, hey, Urza, your mom is hot. Yep, because she is. Because Irina is one beautiful woman who's over 400 years old. Yep, she's over 400. Yeah. Oh, yeah, it's revealed the reason why she cast Universe 1. Because she didn't want to come Aggie Logan right now. She basically just transported him away. And basically messed up Fiore. And also added the island of the one they had the S-Class trials. The one that's considered sacred ground to Fairy Tail. Somehow that was added to the country even though it's an island. Yeah, I don't know why. It's so bizarre. Probably because of the connection to, well, Mavis, of course. Irina says that she has the ability to remove Fairy Heart from Mavis. And Zeref's like, are you ready to start procedure? He's like, yeah, start immediately. And of course, Mavis is like, what? How can they separate Fairy Heart from her? Yep. And of course, also I also got to mention the Winter Wizard. I don't remember the guy's name, but I know he's a Winter Wizard. He points out though about Zera's past relationship. He's had past relationship with Mavis. Well, these two have kissed once, and there's a secret about them that, well, I don't think I'll get into now, but I might get to them later when they can reveal the secret about August. Yeah. Oh yeah, and as for Yasuo Dragneel, Mavis kind of thinks in her head, somehow Zeref possibly has my reading abilities when it comes to Mavis, possibly knows what she's thinking, that how his power is so different. Yeah, he points it out, yep, his power is different. But nothing is really delved about this episode. Might be another episode might talk about it. And surprisingly, no Ganjo this episode. Yeah, we have most of Fairy Tail show up in this episode, but no Ganjo, no Levi, no Panther Lily. Heck, there's like 3 people from Sabretooth, but just mostly Fairy Tail. Yep. So yeah, that's really it for this particular review. I'm looking forward to next week, episode 306. And I think overall, because this was the 28th episode. So overall, there's only about 23 left. Yep, only 23 episodes left to go. Yep. So it might be a possibility for right now anyways that my anime review for Fairy Tail might end by episode 60, but who knows. I'm hoping they might adapt in the future Fairy Tail Century Quest. I hope so, because they probably need to. Well, they might wait till sometime next year when it's about a little over 30 chapters in, and they might just stick to doing one chapter, at least probably about 1 or 2 chapters an episode. Might stick that so they'll catch up the manga too quickly, because manga only comes every couple weeks. Yep. Now, I was thinking of doing a series of reviews for Fairy Tail Zero, but I've been falling behind in this series, along with Eden Zero, like not Fairy Tail Zero, Fairy Tail Century Quest. My friend Edgar is reviewing Eden Zero. I don't think he's reviewing Fairy Tail Century Quest. I don't believe he is. Yeah. But I'm sure that soon he'll probably review. I was just for him, just because he wants to bench watch this whole season. Just do the Alvarez Empire stuff first. Just do that and wait. And if he wants to wait to Alvarez Empire, like get through Avatar first. Get through the arc because it's not very long in the anime. It's like roughly just a little over 10 episodes, so shouldn't take him too long to get through. Probably like a little over 2 hours. Yeah, probably 2 to 3 hours ish. And as for this, if you want us to wait until Avatar's Empire is finished up, go right ahead. Yep. Yeah. So yeah, that's really it for this particular review. Stay tuned. I have no other videos planned for today. Tomorrow I'm planning on reviewing what looks like to be the final, or probably a little bit later on today, probably review the final chapter of Seven Deadly Sins. Yep. I'm going to review that. As far as I can tell, like, if I don't get a chance to do it today, I'll probably do it tomorrow. Yeah, I'll probably do it tomorrow at this rate. Yeah, but in the case of Friday, I have roughly about 3 videos I want to do for Friday. That's JoJo's Adventures, my haul from Mankind Atlanta, which I'm going to have Friday anyways, and a review of the newest chapter of My Hero Academia. That's really it. So roughly 3 for Friday, nothing for Saturday, and like roughly 3 videos for Sunday. And that's One Piece, Boruto, and Dragon Ball Super Dub. Okay? But until you see you in the next few, bye.